You are.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Lunch with Linda. I am Linda Daniels, and you are now inside Northampton Wolves. Happy February. Here we are, February 3rd already. It is one of the, I think, nicest months, even though it can sometimes be very cold and snowy here in New England. It's still a couple of days shorter, and the sun is a little bit brighter. The day feels like it's lasting a little bit longer. At least now, when I leave at 5 o'clock here, it's still shining almost up until, I'm not sure exactly when sunset is, but it feels like it's after 5:30, and even the mornings are getting a little bit brighter. It is up, or we're getting up, and there seems to be some daylight out there. So that's number one. With February here can be pretty wet. We had some snow last night, enough to shovel, but boy, it's warming up out there, and it's already all melting all over the place. So, in typical things are changing fashion, February has not been as snowy as it has been in the past, but it still feels like we've got another 6 weeks, thanks to Puxatawny Phil, of winter to come. And so one of the things that I've decided to do again is what I call Fly By February. And I've done this in the past, I can't remember if it was 2 years ago now, but the program is this. You sign up online, it's under the classes page, it's called Fly By February. It's going to run for 6 weeks because that's how much winter we have left. So starting Saturday, February 8th, if you sign up, you will get a pattern every Saturday for a smallish project. It won't be a sweater, but it will be either something I design or something that I've purchased or that one of the my vendors has allowed me to distribute without you having to actually pay for it. The fee is $30, but this is what you get. You get a pattern every week for 6 weeks. If you decide to purchase the specific yarn here in the store for that item, you will get a coupon for 20% off of that yarn. Otherwise, it's a great way to use up stash because the projects will be relatively small. You're also going to get a Camp Stitch Wood Merit Badge. I've started to give these out in the classes. In the ranunculus class on Saturday, I handed 2 badges out to 2 of the students who had done their gauge in the round instead of flat. They got a, I think it's called Gauge Goddess.
It is, yeah.
It's Gauge Goddess Merit Badge. You're going to be getting a merit badge. It's actually a pin. It's not a badge that you have to sew on. It has a little pin on the back. And you'll get an LYS regular. LYS, remember, stands for Local Yarn Store, and we're proud to be your local yarn store. You're also going to get a leather labels that you they have a little like metal screw that you put on, so you can put them on the edge of the thing that you have knit, just to kind of add a little pizzazz to it. And you're going to get a special stitch marker and a Go Knit Something sticker. Remember, this is the only place you can get that Go Knit Something sticker. So that's what you're going to get for $30. It is live on the website now, and it starts on Saturday. So if you are at all interested, sign up, and you can either have the pattern emailed to you, or you can come and pick it up if you want to have a print copy as well. So we're excited for that because that's going to make February, hopefully, fly by. And I showed you the LYS pin, but you might also be lucky enough to get the cast-on-itis merit badge too, because for 6 weeks, you'll be casting on something different every week. Woohoo! Sounds like fun? Are you in or are you out? That's what we're going to do to hopefully make this month travel a little bit faster. Get us through it a little bit faster. Because March comes along and the snow hopefully is melted and you start thinking about gardens and what kinds of flowers or plants to grow. So we want to fill that time in between. We also want you to have something happy and fulfilling and interesting to do during the month of February. All right. I just want to also mention that we are getting in a bunch of small orders that I placed just before the tariffs will be going into effect. We still have the little starter kits from Likey. We've sold a few of them, but we do still have those. I'm still using those in my project. We also still have some of the full sets left as well. We've got a needle order that came in today and another needle order on its way from one of the other companies, and the gleaner, which is one of the things that I want to show you. The gleaner, if you don't already have one, you absolutely need to think about this. The gleaner comes to us from Canada, and I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. They haven't said yet how the tariffs will affect them, but it just might. But I wanted to show you the gleaner because we have a lot of inventory. Eileen Fisher sends their customers over, and they recommend it. And when I took this sweater out this morning, I was like, holy cow, I need to gleaner this thing. So first of all, this sweater is a worsted weight pattern by, I left my notebook over there. Oh, right there. Thank you. It's called the Holly Sweater by Hanne, Hanne, Rimmen, Hanne Rimmen. She's got two sweaters that are very similar in look. One of them she called the Christmas sweater, and after the pattern was done, she went back and embroidered French knots on this to make it look more like holly. And in this one, she did a little touch of red embroidery on it. But I just left it with the two colors. And like I said, it's worsted weight. Excuse me. It's worsted weight yarn, so it goes pretty fast on a size 7 needle. So that's what this sweater is. But when I took it out to wear it, I was like, holy cow, this thing has started to pill. Before I gleaner it, I want to talk to you about pilling, because people think that it's a sign of the quality of the wool, and it's not necessarily true. First of all, the softer the wool, the more it's going to pill. Pilling happens because the fibers, the strands,
the fluffiness,
are short. And when they are short, they loosen and then they stick together. So it's something that happens in wool. It also happens in acrylic. But when you knit with a single ply, your chances of it pilling are even higher. When you knit with a superwash, you're going to get some, but not as much pilling. And when you knit with a non-superwash wool, depending on the type of sheep, you're going to end up with less pilling. So the harder the twist, the more authentic, rustic the wool, the less pilling there will be. But this one, the yarn that I used in this one is a soft twist. It's not applied yarn. So it's a single ply, which means especially here where my coat rubs or my arms rub, I'm getting those dreaded pills. Can you see them? Are they showing up? Okay. So what does the gleaner do? First of all, the gleaner looks like this. This side is a what is
Lint
that?
remover?
Thank you.
You use it after you fill.
Yes, it's a lint remover, which works great on, dark clothes or stuff. This side is the side that does the work. It comes with 3 different levels or strengths of pumice. And if you do any research, like how to remove pills, I've seen several videos of all of the testers, the electric shavers, the burners, the razors. Pumice is the number one thing that removes pills safely and efficiently. And like I said, there are 3 different levels or strengths, if you will. Question?
I'm just going to zoom so we can see.
Okay. There's a set of instructions in here too that will tell you when to use each of those different strengths. I'm going to use the white pumice on this sweater. It just pops right in to the handle like that. So it's a really nice weight and manageable. Now, most of the time you would do this on a table or on the bed. You'd lay your sweater out flat and then scrape away. But I'm going to do it on my body. And just a simple scraping. The thing about doing it like this, I can't really see what I'm doing.
I don't know if that's a strong enough pumice.
I think so. Let's try the black one.
Yeah. I like to start with the gentle one first.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah. So 4 scrapes like that, and they're coming right off.
And it takes a little bit of time.
It's not a 2-second thing. You do have to scrape all over the sweater.
But you don't have to replace the back, right?
Yeah, you don't, and you don't. This is not going to, look at that. This is not going to damage the sweater in any way.
Because you're not losing any fiber that's in the sweater. It's already come out.
That's right. It's just coming off of the top of the sweater where it's already a little thing. And boy, is that quicker than sitting them there trying to pick each one off. So let's, it doesn't matter what direction. This is not easy. This is not what I would recommend you do. Take the sweater off and do it on the bed. But I did bring over another one of my sweaters because I was going to wear this one today and notice the same exact thing. Now this one is alpaca. And alpaca is a really soft fiber, and that really pills as well. Yep. Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not a sign of the quality of the wool. It's going to happen. And the softer or less tightly spun that the fiber is, the more likely it's going to pill. And I know exactly what you mean. In fact, most of you would know, holy cow, I need to do a repair.
Found it.
Uh-oh. See, it happens to the best of us. Not that I'm the best, but...
We make sweaters last a long time.
Exactly. Take care of them. So I will, when I get home tonight, spread these out and really do a much better on the table job with this, because it's not even something that you have to push down or, brush really tightly or anything or hard, but it is definitely.
And so take the lint roller and go on your sweater a little bit, because when I pill something, and I think I'm still having to pill. I think I'm still having to scrape.
Yeah.
If you turn it the other way, you can pull up a lot of that, and you're not
like this.
Pilling it anymore. Yeah. It's like a great way to clean it up.
Yes. So like I said, we have a lot of these in stock, or we have pretty good inventory in them right now. And I think they're around
28.
They're $28 and lifesaver. So this one obviously is a good one for sweaters. This one and this one are going to be gentler. And you can also use them on t-shirts. If you've got t-shirts or turtlenecks, that are starting to get that pilliness, that nubbiness, yeah, that's uncomfortable and you really like it, then this is the thing that you want to save them. That's the gleaner.
I love mine.
I do
I
too.
just used it last week on my headband.
Yeah, you can use it on everything. And you should, because, I'm a little bit embarrassed that I haven't used it on my sweaters.
You're a busy
But
lady.
busy isn't the truth. So first of all, secondly, or wherever I am, fifthly, if you were here on Saturday, thank you so much for coming. I have told you before that I was feeling a little bit of overwhelm, and January just kind of zoomed through my brain. And on Saturday morning, I realized that I had scheduled 4 classes during the day. Now, I fortunately did not schedule all 4 classes for me to teach, because that would really have been impossible. But Lucille showed up and did the Learn to Knit class. I had ranunculus class in the morning, and then I had the mitten class in the afternoon, and I had scheduled a 3-person Learn to Knit who needed, people in that class needed a little bit of extra help. And thank you, Lucille. Thank you for staying and helping with that too. So it was, and we were really busy. So it was quite a day. I was like, boom, blown away by the end of the day. I won't be doing that again. Okay, then the title of this is how one stitch can change everything. And I wanted to talk a little bit about where and how stitch patterns come from. Today we take it for granted that we can find whatever we need, and we can, online, somewhere on the internet, whether you're looking at Ravelry or YouTube videos or whatever. But before there was this easy access to everything, we depended a lot on, number 1, books, and number 2, passing our knowledge around to family and friends, and maybe even little knitting groups that we might have been a part of. And one of the pioneers in stitch pattern collections is Barbara Walker. If you are lucky enough to come across a Barbara Walker collection, she had, I think, 4 books that were called Treasury of Knitting Patterns. I'm not sure that they're all out of print. 1 or 2 of them might be, because she had one that was mosaic knitting. But her first and second collection, or treasury, grab them, because they are not only chock filled with information, but they are a resource that you will not be sad that you have. Barbara was not the world's biggest, fastest, or most accomplished knitter, but she is an amazing woman who, when she became interested in a topic, really dove into it. And this was one of them, stitch patterns. So the book, and I was going to bring my copy, but I forgot it this morning. The book has a picture of the stitch pattern, the directions, row by row, no charts in her first 2 books, just written directions. But then she has a little sentence or 2 about the stitch pattern. And many of those sentences contain the names of women that sent her directions for their family stitch pattern. We use this for all of the baby blankets, or this is our favorite to make baby sweaters with, or I used this pattern to make a whole sweater. So she gives recommendations for what each stitch pattern is used for. And her second treasury is that big, that thick. All the pictures are black and white, so you are not distracted by color, which I think is an absolute wonderful thing. We've got lots of stitch dictionaries in the store, new ones, and the color, I think, can sometimes distract from what the actual stitch is. Okay, so that's how we used to get and share stitch patterns. Now you can find them all over the place. In fact, there's even a place called theknittingfool.com, and that has a collection of knit stitch patterns as well. And you can find something specific there. If you're looking for a cable that you want to add to a sweater, you can find the how-tos at knittingfool.com. One of the ways stitch patterns get created is by making a mistake. And that's what happened in this very traditional stitch pattern. So I did 2 samples so that you could really understand what I was talking about. This is 32 stitches done in a knit 2, purl 2 rib pattern. Almost all of us have done this at one time or another. It's a great stretchy pattern. It works wonderfully for the brims of hats because it does stretch but then pop back into shape. And this thing about knit 2, purl 2 ribbing, the word ribbing itself implies that the knits will line up over knits and the purls will line up over purls, and you keep that going. Knit over knit, purl over purl. Knit 2, purl 2, which is different than knit 1, purl 1. But one day, God knows when, but one day somebody, instead of casting on 32 stitches, cast on 33 and did a knit 2, purl 2 pattern on every row. And what she ended up with is called now mistake stitch ribbing. This is the same exact thing. Knit 2, purl 2 on every row. So every row starts with knit 2, purl 2, but there's an odd number of stitches. And so the pattern will end with 1. And it doesn't matter whether you end with a knit 1 or a purl 1, and that will depend on whether the initial number is a multiple of 4 or not. Like you could do this over 33 stitches, you could do this over 35 stitches, you could do this over 37, any odd number, but it might change whether you end with purl 2 then knit 1, or it might end with knit 2 then purl 1. That doesn't matter. What matters is that you have an odd number of stitches and every single row starts with knit 2, purl 2. And what this gives you is this much wider, still stretchy, rib kind of pattern, and the knit stitches line up on top of each other. And then there's one knit after it that ends up being knit on one row and purled on the next time you're on that row.
So much texture.
There's so much texture to it. It spreads the ribbing out, so you can see that when I hold up. This is 33, this is 32 on the same needle, and I did these this morning. Same yarn, same knitter, same needle, but you can do it like this.
Yeah.
The mistake stitch ends up being wider. It spreads more apart because the stitches push against each other. Knit 2, purl 2, the purls sink and the knits push out to the front. That's why when you look at the knit 2, purl 2, you don't really see the purls when you're just looking at the fabric like this, because the purls push back. So all you really see is the knits. And because this is a single ply yarn, all you really see is one knit stitch clearly, and that one knit stitch is actually the halves of the 2 knits that it comprise it.
Okay, pause for zoom. There you go.
So here are the 2 knit stitches. But when I let it collapse, what you really see is half of one knit stitch and half of the other knit stitch to make that knit in the middle. This has a lot more memory. It comes back together than mistake stitch does. I really love mistake stitch, and you can do this in the round. You have to make a little bit of a change. You can do it flat. You could use it as a ribbing on a sweater if you wanted to. It makes a great scarf pattern. It's really great to use for scarves because it lays flat, it doesn't curl, gives a lot of texture, and it still lets it come in a little bit. There's still some movement there. Really, really nice as a scarf pattern. We got in the popcorn from Trendsetter Yarn, and it's actually from the brand new company called Gazelle. And I went ahead and designed the first piece that we're going to do in the popcorn. It is this mistake stitch cowl. Now I did this flat, and then I sewed the two edges together. And I'm gonna have this pattern available tomorrow. And so it's done on a straight needle. I cast on 55 stitches, an odd number, and then I did knit 2, purl 2 on every row. And I used one skein plus a little bit more and bound off. Then I sewed part of it together. There's the seam. Sewed it up a little bit and left the top open. And if this makes a noise on the mic, I apologize. But
We got some people commenting about how much they love the mistake stitch.
yeah,
How they use it
it's so fun because you don't have to think. The rhythm of knit 2, purl 2, you can really get into. And why doesn't it work on knit 1, purl 1? And it doesn't. Knit 1, purl 1, if you do it on an odd number of stitches and do knit 1, purl 1 for every row, is seat stitch. So here's the mistake stitch cowl, and I had enough left from the second skein to also make mistake stitch mitts to go with it. This is the new yarn popcorn. Is this great? I love it. And this is how much we had left from that 2 skeins. Now, this is 100% merino wool, really soft. It is a single ply, but it has a binder on it. When you look at the construction of the yarn, you can see how soft and springy the yarn is because it's merino, and you can see that little wrap. That wrap is running tighter than the wool when they're combining them, so it makes a tiny bit of texture. And man, is this warm. The colors are to die for. Look how rich and full of color this little, I shouldn't say little, I did this on a size 15 needle, so it is considered a bulky weight, and I think there's 74 yards in each skein. So we have this color. I don't think they have names. It is, there is one, the 1% poly is that little strand of like thread, or you could call it, going around it. It is hand dyed, so I don't know. However they hand dye a yarn. This looks like hand paint.
Yeah.
So because they splatter. Yeah, it's not a kettle dye. And this, you've heard us talk about how hard browns are to do, and this is a gorgeous combination. Of course, Kate, wipe that drool off your mouth. It's so pretty.
Got the red brown.
Yep,
Dark brown.
and that gold in there,
There's
gorgeous.
a few colors in there like this next one.
And then they took it, yes, they took it a step towards lighter and did this almost peach with slashes of my favorite green in there, and then into that deep, I'd call that more rust, and that one more brown.
Your colors and my colors. And
That's it.
the peach and the
This is the blue that I knit with.
that was called
Oh my God, when you feel this stuff, you will not believe it. I'm not even going to show you the other 3 yarns that we got from them until later on, because I want to knit with them first. Look at this, just in time for Valentine's Day.
I think that one's called Love Potion.
It probably is. Oh no, it's cactus flower.
Oh, cactus
They
flower.
do have names, cactus flower. But what a great Valentine's Day.
That's a rosebud.
And then they took it a little bit deeper into purples with the pinks. 3 more. Look at that green.
Pretty and fun at the same time.
Yes.
I love that.
Now, you will only want to make a small, you can make whatever you want in it. There's no pattern support for this company yet because this is a new company to the US. We're one of the first stores to get it in. And it is pricey. I'm going to tell you right up front. It is not something that you necessarily will want to make a whole sweater out of. Plus, it is a super bulky. It's $48 a skein. Whew. But it is merino wool, it is hand dyed, and it is imported, and then this purple. And that's sort of why I did the cowl and mitts, because you can get a little touch of luxury, a fun, easy way to use it, but still make something really, really great. You could make that cowl with one skein. It would just be shorter. You wouldn't have quite the same amount of turnover. I think I joined the second skein right about here. So you could still do it. You would just have a little less of a turnover if you wanted to try that. But when I show you the other yarns, you will definitely fall in love with all of them.
I love this one.
Yes, we all love them. All right, so that brings us into February. And like I said, I can't believe it's already February 3rd, that the sun is trying to shine today, and it is warming up out there. And I am not going to show you the other stuff that we got, but we have gotten some really fun things in, because we haven't even opened the boxes yet. So I think I'm pretty happy with what I did for this late, okay, is it, I guess you could call it midwinter to later winter. We're moving out of it rather than into it. And we will be busy this week. We still have a lot of yarns on sale. Last week I told you, talked about the yarns that we marked down to 50%. We had 2 people buy the confetti to make sweaters out of, so that was fun to see. And we've still got a rack of sample sweaters on sale too. Hopefully the weather will cooperate a little bit and we'll be able to put all of this stuff outside. We've got some exciting new projects from Gudrun, who will be teaching her Taste of Fair Isle class this week on Saturday. And hopefully when she's here, she and I will be able to discuss and schedule when she'll be able to teach again. So there is a way to put yourself on the wait list on the website. So if you haven't done that already and want to be, then you have to go to her class, right?
Just go to the class like you're going to buy it, but instead of adding to cart, you add yourself to the wait list.
Okay, so you can do that. And we're going to set that up for some of our more popular classes as well. So that's what I've got for you today, guys. I hope you enjoy your week, and I sure hope that you go knit something. Bye-bye.